Well, I know I'm not playing the Scorpions right now, but we didn't hold it against the Krauts for having, what do you call it? Okay, let me just say something about Generation X. We listened to the Scorpions. Now that I was just listening to them, they have a very heavy German accent. You know what? My grandfather fought the Germans in World War II only a few decades before the Scorpions started. Now, we as kids did not hold it against the Scorpions for downing my grandfather probably in 2 shipwrecks, because we were philosophical about it. If it wasn't for World War II, my parents wouldn't even married, and I wouldn't have been born, because everything was so cracked up and disgusting that our parents were trying to leave the home because their parents were having such a freaking hard time and driving them crazy. So that's just one example of how philosophical we could be in 1980 regarding World War II. And we did not hold it against the Krauts. For God's sake, how many times do you have to miss the point, people, with your social justice warriors and reparations people? Like, you have no idea of world, anything, or time, or your place in time. Just try to look up, there's a joke about some Indian guy who was given a horse, and someone said, that's a good thing, and he says, well, yes and no, because then the next day, then someone fell off his horse, and then they said, well, that's a terrible thing, and he said, well, yes and no, and then that person, something good happened because of that, and then they said, oh, that's good that happened, and he said, well, yes and no. Like, Jesus. Didn't even Jesus teach us this kind of a philosophy? Like, don't make a big deal out of anything. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. We're not supposed to know about every death that happens on the other side of the world. You can only carry enough burden for today.